In today's video, we're going to build this tiny, cute little pedal. It's a distortion, or rather it's a clipping diode thing, but it's totally passive. It's super small, it's super compact, it's super cute, and I'm going to show you how to make it. It's really easy. You just need a couple of parts to do it. You need an enclosure, you need 2 jacks, you need a switch, you need a couple of pieces of wire. These can just be something you took from, I don't know, your dad's computer or something, I don't know. And you're also going to need tiny little diodes. We're going to talk more about them in a second. If you've been following along recently, you saw me make a video where I put in a distortion passive control in a guitar. And if you've been around for a really long time, you've also seen me do it to an SG guitar. And so those videos will be linked down below. Another video that will also be linked down below is my how to wire up a true bypass switch, because this is sort of that. You don't need to watch any of those videos to follow along in this video, but if you want some extra sauce or gravy or whatever you want to call it on top of it, and if you're interested in, you know, building weird things, then I suggest you watch those videos. Knowing how to wire up a bypass switch for your pedals is crucial when it comes to turning anything into a pedal. You could wire anything up to that, basically. But for now, let's jump in to this tiny little pedal and just make a tiny, cute little switch thing. Some of you will have already seen those videos with the guitars and felt like, I don't want that in a guitar. I would rather have it in a pedal and then just see what happens to different guitars going through that pedal. And that's this. Now, this doesn't have a tone control or distortion control like the guitars will have, but I don't actually feel that that's necessary. Most times I only actually use it going from nothing to max. And so that will be basically the same thing as turning this on and off. So let's just jump into this now and I'll show you how to wire this up. It's going to be super easy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is inside the enclosure we have 2 jacks and they look like this. Now the first thing we have to do is we have to connect a ground wire from one of the jacks to the other jack. And if you look here, you see this base plate here. That is connected to this tip here. And that's the ground. A mono jack only has 2 connectors like this. And so if this is the ground, which it is, then this is the lead. Now, if you have a male connector to the jack like this, you can also see it when you press it in to place. That inside the female connector, the sleeve here gets connected to this one, and this one, it goes all the way around and goes up to the tip. And they're isolated away from each other with this black little ring. So we're going to take the jacks both to ground connections, which are these 2. And we're just going to put a cable in between the 2. So we're pre-tinning the wire, and what that means is just putting solder on the connections before we then put them together. And that is just to help everything flow together and be connected easier. It's not something that you have to do, but I would recommend that you do. And I'm doing this to all things. I'm just telling you once, but I'm gonna pre-solder all connections before I put them together. So now we just take our wire and we connect it to the first ground on the jack. And we wait a second or 2 and we can pull at it and it's stuck. It goes really quickly. So once the ground connection is done, we can move on to the next part. Now, if you look at the switch, the way you have to put it in is so that the flat sides, if you look at the top of the connectors, are parallel to the jacks. They are flat on one side and that needs to be in line like this. There is no up and down or anything like that, but if it's oriented the other way, basically like this instead, then you need to turn it around like this, or it's going to be a little bit more confusing. The way these switches work is one press will connect the middle to the upper, and the next switch will disconnect it and connect it to the lower. So what we need to do is we need a tiny little wire from the lead of the jack to the first leg on the middle row, and one tiny little jack from the lead of the other jack to the last of the middle row. Something like this. So from one lead to the middle, from one lead to the middle. And we're leaving this row in the middle here. If we're going this way, we're leaving that alone, so nothing will be connected here. The next thing we need is a little jumper cable from here to here. Just a tiny bit of wire, just like this, from that leg to that leg, just across. Okay, so now we get to the next part. And that is basically, we're going to do the same thing again, just a tiny little jumper wire, but instead of using, you know, a tiny little jumper wire, we're going to use 2 diodes, and we're going to put them like this. If you look at the diode, it has a tiny little marking, a circle around one of the sides, and you just take one of the sides and put it to the other ones not have a marking side, so they are opposite, like this. And then these 2 legs get twisted together, and these 2 legs get twisted together, and you end up with something that looks like this. It might be hard to see because these things are very tiny. Here's my nail for comparison. But basically, the black marking or circle around on the one side is here, and on the other ones it's there. And they're twisted together, and I have a little bit of solder on them. And these ones are called BAT41. So now we just need to take these tiny little diodes right here and connect them from that leg there to that leg there, skipping over this leg in the middle. So now it looks like this. One leg is connected there and one is connected there. You have a true bypass connection here because basically this wire will just be from this jack to that if it goes through there. Or it goes through here and the signal just gets cut by the 2 diodes. There you have it. All done. Now we can plug it in and test it. But before we do, there are a couple of things I just want to mention so that you're aware of these things. I say them in all of these videos about clipping diodes, or at least I think I do. I hope I do. If I don't, sorry. But this is passive, and what happens to your signal is the volume drops a lot. And if you've seen the guitar videos where I put in clipping diodes, that works a little bit different because it doesn't clip the signal as much, even though, you know, it does. But it will be louder in the guitar than it will be in this. And so you have to think about that you will most likely experience a bigger difference in volume drop in one of these because it's just handling the signal a little bit different. And so I would say this is not really supposed to be a standalone. If you don't have any pedals and you build this, you're most likely going to get disappointed because you're going to either press this and feel like, whoa, where did my signal go? Or you're going to set your signal up to this and press it and, you know, blow your speakers because it's going to be so loud. So this is more like if you have a distortion and you want to clip it even more and make it a little bit rounded off, I suppose I would say this is a good thing. Or if you have a boost pedal, you could press this and the boost and do something like that. Or as, you know, a fun little thing to throw in between 2 pedals, just to dirty them up a little bit, experiment, do fun, creative things with it. But do keep in mind that there will be signal loss, there will be a volume droppage, those sort of things. And I know some of you are going to say, well, why didn't you just put it in with one of these little LM386 chips that I have in my other videos? And that I just want to say it's not passive anymore then. And also, that's what we have this pedal for. You know, the clipping are supposed to go in this one later down the line. So yes, that's something to consider as well. You might not actually like this, or this might be just a fun little thing that you put in to make things a little bit more interesting and fun for yourself. So I'm going to plug it in and I'm going to play some of the clean channel for you, and then I'm going to press it and I'm going to play some of the clipping so that you get a comparison. But I'm actually going to raise the volume on my amp when I do so. And that's just because I need to do that because it's going to be a little bit weird in the video otherwise, because, you know, it's going to be such a big difference in volume. Now, I'm just saying this because I want you to hear this without anything else added on. Until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool. And we're sort of on a roll with the whole diode distortion clipping things. There's been a lot of videos about it lately. Some of you might not be so into it and want something else, but there's going to be other things too, so don't worry. But we're on a roll, so go and do some diode clipping things. And if you find something cool and interesting, talk to me in the comments below. It's always fun when you guys tell me things that I didn't know or that I didn't notice, or that you find something other cool. for me to try out. So yeah, stay awesome and cool and talk to me in the comments below.